Look at us. Color coordinated and ready to roll, wheels up, here on the Wednesday edition of Barn Burner. Here in the Tower Chrysler Studios. Tower Chrysler. Still the Consumer Choice Award. I mean, you probably come in every day. I'm just wondering, is Tower Chrysler, are they still that Consumer Choice Award winner?
That's correct. Yeah.
To be the man, you got to beat the man, as Ric Flair would say. And until somebody shows that they've got what Tower's got, good luck. Wishful thinking, all you others out there.
Big underdogs elsewhere.
Yeah. You Chrysler, Dodge, Ram dealers, pick up your socks. And maybe, just maybe, someday you'll be in that class of Tower Chrysler. TowerChrysler.com. Check it out online. And, of course, go swing by the dealership. Said it before, I think there's a lot of dealerships out there struggling with inventory. Whatever Surge is doing.
It's doing it right.
Cars and vehicles galore.
If you're looking for sugar cubes, not the right place. Look for vehicles, they're a good spot to go.
Retro, how are we doing? Pinder made the observation in the pre-show that
God, he looks hungover, doesn't he?
The rack there behind you, the shelving, there's not a lot happening there. It looks very barren.
Morgan Barron.
You do look you look a little pale.
Disheveled?
Just got out of the shower. I had a cold shower. Some of that kooky Aaron Rodgers, Joe Rogan shit.
Who's your guy?
Right.
Who's the old guy? Right. Like Wilf Hunkenbomber or something like
Wilf.
that? Is it Wilf?
Wim Hof.
Wilf.
Wilf.
Wim Hof. The Hofmeister.
How long does he go on cold plunges? Like 28
I've seen
minutes?
videos of him like walking into the glacier's water, like this.
What a stud, eh?
Swimming around.
So just control your breathing and pretend it's not cold. What do you do? That's all mental.
It's a mental. Apparently, very good for you.
Apparently.
I've done it for actually quite a few years.
Of course.
So
Yeah.
the cold shower is not really that extreme, but that guy like climbs Mount Kilimanjaro in a t-shirt and shorts.
Did you guys ever see the movie The Alpinist?
No.
It was amazing. When I got COVID a few lifetimes ago, I watched the crazy free solo climb that was on Disney, and then you're into the climbing thing, and you got to watch all the climbing movies. But that guy, it was minus 20 with winds of up to 50 miles an hour, and I was the winter in Chile, and we summited this thing in 8 hours and came back, and it's just I couldn't feel my fingers for a few hours in there, but we did it. And you're like, holy shit, what are these guys made of?
Unbelievable.
Those movies are too anxious for those movies. It's like, oh God, they're gonna fall for sure. Oh jeez, he's gonna slip and fall. Oh God, they're gonna fall for sure. Don't fall. Remember Cliffhanger with Stallone, like the opening scene, his fucking wife falls down. God, like really?
Rough start right out of the gate.
I just sat down here.
That was like Aaron
just
Rodgers
sat down
2 nights ago. It's like I haven't even got my beer open. What are you doing taking the main character? Come on.
This does not coincide with Dean's comfortable existence.
No.
I can't do it. No.
I'm just settling in. I'm not ready for death yet. Come on.
Oh.
Talk about I saw a video. Sharks are getting bigger and stronger and badder. Hey, have you seen them? They're now smashing into these shark tanks. People are going cage diving or whatever. Don't do it. They're getting bigger and stronger. They're on the roids.
Super sharks.
These super sharks.
Meg.
The Meg.
The megalodons.
Don't need to watch that either. Don't need to do it.
How are you when the original Jaws came out? Were you more risque?
Well, that was a long
in those days. Yeah.
I don't even know when I would have seen it. It wouldn't have been in the theater.
Yeah.
But yeah, not ideal. I don't need that.
You don't like sharks. I can tell that.
Don't like sharks.
You mention sharks a lot. You don't mention snakes or spiders. Just sharks. A lot of sharks.
Don't like snakes.
Gross.
Yeah.
I kind of warmed up on snakes a couple of years ago when we were down under, mate. So they had that the carpet pythons. There was that big nest of like 10 of them, just vibrating on her eggs, keeping them warm, and then. Next thing you know, they're all cracked. Like, oh, there's just another dozen of those 6-footers around now. Sweet.
What does having a snake as a pet bring you?
Nothing.
I don't know. There's no companionship, right? They don't have feelings. They don't emote.
No, like I don't think if you're kind of down, you're like, oh, I'm having a bad day. Sitting on the couch. It's not like old Sam the snake comes slithering over and crawls into your laps like, hey, buddy, it's not so bad.
Well,
turn that frown upside down, mister.
Typically do anything. It's not
red zone.
No, you know what it'd be? You'd be sleeping on the couch, you fucking fall asleep, prickle choke you to death. Oh, it's a great pet.
My neck.
Hey, your dog's not going to kill you in your sleep. Snake might. That Brent Burns.
Yeah. We got to talk to him.
We got to talk to Brent Burns. What's the deal, man?
Jack, can you call Brent Burns for us,
Jack,
please?
call Brent Burns.
Burnsy and that other weirdo, Lehner.
Robin Lehner, yeah.
Oh, so yeah, that was a sad story apparently in Buffalo Red. He lost a lot of dough in that. Bankrupted some
I don't know
folks.
who's sad about it in Buffalo, but maybe
Well, I mean, if you were Robin Lehner's financial advisor, probably that'd be the person highest on the list.
For Robin, it's too many neck tattoos and snakes. We gotta cut down our budget, our neck tattoo budget and our snake budget. Just too much. It's too
He's
much.
got some free time now. I don't see him playing hockey again.
Was that wasn't it against New Jersey? He was in net and the puck went through his friggin' legs from the sidewall. He didn't see it. It was like, what? Oh, foomp, hits the back pad of the net. Got pulled, never played again. Isn't that what happened?
Is that how his career ended?
I think
If
so.
it did, geez, that sucks.
And
He
then-
didn't play at all last year. He was IR
In
the
Vegas
whole
and
season.
Peter DeBoer. No, he's in fine shape. He could maybe start for his next game. No, his friggin' back and knees. He needs surgery on his entire torso.
I wonder why his back and knees gave out.
Well, Frank
Carrying around
bombed
all
us
those
on that one.
snakes.
He said he was almost 3 bills, he thought. And that's a lot of up downs on your knees. That's not the kind of pressure you want on those joints.
How close were you to 3 bills ever, Retro?
Never 3.
Oh,
No,
God.
how close?
Yeah, what was the highest?
No, 250 is probably
Yeah.
max.
Yeah, 3 is a lot.
3 is a lot.
Lot.
Yeah, 3 is a lot.
A friend of the show posted 935 save percentage in Slovakia at 3 bills, but we don't need to name names.
Oh, Brusty!
Don't need to name names.
Oh, sorry, Bear.
Could be anyone. Maybe it's
Sorry,
Danny
Rusty.
Taylor. I
He
don't know.
is big, even if you're 6'8",
Yes,
It's still
it
big,
is.
yeah.
right? Like,
Your knees and your body's sore when you're lugging around 3 bills.
yeah.
It's too much, especially for Brusty.
Well,
Brusty
and that's
8'6".
what makes Aaron Donald such your specimen. You're like, this guy's what, like 6'1"?
Was Brusty 300 pounds?
Look, there was a rumor, and I think it was more of a feather in his cap than anything else, that you could dominate a professional men's league anywhere near that weight. But again, I think Dustin Byfuglien and Robin Lehner, we had sort of in the same territory.
Whoa, did you see Buff at that Marian Hossa deal?
He wasn't small.
A couple
but
weeks
yeah.
ago, Marian Hossa had his final game, and I mean, it was a who's who, Lidstrom and Chara, and it was. Well, Buff was there. Buff is the stuff.
Yeah.
But listen, we all knew that, right?
Yeah.
He was never.
He chose food over.
Yeah, he chose. I've got money. What did he leave in Winnipeg that last year?
Oh, like
7 million a
15
year for a
million?
couple of years.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just walked away from an incredible amount of money.
And I think he had a little bit of a grievance with the Jets over some injury thing, but like he was like, yeah, whatever. Like I got my lake house, I got lots of dough. I just want to like drink beers on the dock and take the boat out for a rip every once in a while. He's good.
An honest pill, an honest pill for Buff, and I guarantee you he would be like, could have maybe
Wasn't
just
good.
Could have maybe. It's like
maybe just
15 million,
finish that.
but
It's just 2 years.
salads and sit-ups.
I get to sit at my lake house for as long as I survive. So.
Well, that was a tough year for them because that's when they lost Myers in free agency. Trouba, they had to address that situation. And I think Ben Sherratt was gone too. And it was like all of a sudden, 4 of your top 5 D were gone. All that was left
not
was
only
Josh
just
Morrissey.
4 of your top 5, Buff was a freaking all-star.
And a guy that set the tone, physically, like he was a huge part of that team. And that I think you Boomer kept saying it, like 5 games. It was the Vegas season where they went to the final that they knocked off Winnipeg. It could have been the Jets going to the final. Yeah, it doesn't look too bad.
He's just
a color.
He is a big man.
Big dude.
And it's another one of those things that we've talked about it maybe off and on. You see guys like Kachuk or whatever, guys that I think just are naturally kind of the dedication it would take in their career to remain in good shape and to be fit. It's like that's for some guys they're just naturally lean. Pinder, you prick.
That's true. There's also
for
bad
other
habits
guys-
out there. Every time I see Keith on TV, he's hammering 38 Bud Lights.
Yeah, so good. Attaboy, Keith.
That's good life. As an athlete, I don't need to be fit anymore.
Oh yeah. Like what else is there? I've made all the money in the world. Now my kids are multimillionaires.
Yeah.
I've got houses wherever. You can eat those. You can eat the rest of that or slide it over. We'll get to the Pinder Report coming up. The Calgary Flames golf tournament.
We used to get invited to this thing. What happened?
Yeah, we're out.
Are we out, or just we need to remind people we exist, or did they lose the emails?
I don't know. Either way, we're not there.
Okay.
There are other people there today. And I don't know if you touch upon this in the upcoming Pinder Report or not. Noah Hannafin, Elias Lindholm, Michael Backlund. There's a lot of these players entering the final year of their contracts.
Only 6 of them. Come on.
Yeah. I can give you a quick synopsis if you would like, because the assembled media did get a chance to talk to a number of these guys before their rounds took place today. They're open to anything.
Open.
Very disappointed in last year and how it ended. Just want to see how this season plays out. They're excited to get started. And, of course, I'm open to staying. But let's just get the season going, and we'll see how things go.
Yeah.
That's everybody.
That is pretty much everybody. There's a tiny bit of nuance between them, but the general vibe is let's see how things go before we sign anything. And I think that's fair given how disastrous last season was. Like, let's see how everyone's doing here. Let's see how the new coach operates. Is this materially different, or is this the same pile of steaming fecal matter that last year was? They hated last season. They hated it.
Interesting take. I feel like I mentioned that about not signing guys last year, and you basically called me an emotional idiot and clown and jackass.
Oh,
who said what?
We got to get these guys signed. They got to sign. We got to sign them and give them all the money, and we can't let it play out the way we did last year. No way. That's no good.
That's what Connie said. You're talking about Connie. Connie said that in the presser. We can't be just walking guys to UFA.
What's good for the goose is not good for the gander. Do you get the point?
Is not an easy spot for Connie, is it?
They're cool saying it, but as a team, we aren't allowed to last year. Let's let it play out.
I'm not quite sure what you're referencing. Was someone
last year when they signed as 2 players?
You're talking about Uyghur and Huberdeau, where there you could
Kadri.
not. You couldn't let the season play out.
We could wait a month or 2 to see if this works before. It's exactly what the players are saying. And we're like, oh, okay. I guess it's in their hands. But as an organization last year, no, my God, we got to overreact and sign, give them the money.
Yeah. This has been stuck in your craw for a good 11 months, and I get it, man. I get it. I like the Uyghur deal. I think the Huberdeau is going to go down as one of the worst of all time. And I think we can't just sort of like
Uyghur deal, though. The Uyghur deal was there a month in or 2 months in. You probably could have signed him for less 2 months in because he was playing like shit. So, do you want to stay?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
5 good.
Or he's like, I'm not playing that well. Maybe I'll just wait till the summer. I don't know, man. I mean, I think the Huberdeau one's a big issue for sure. He is not a $10.5 million player. Never mind all the signing bonuses. You can't buy it out. No one has looked at that contract and said, wow, that's a good deal. It was more like people gritting their teeth being like, 115 points, Johnny's money.
Also,
okay.
And Kadri.
Kadri's a free agent signing.
The player that we aren't allowed to trade because no one will take him. Oh. But we signed him less than a year ago to big dough. Yeah, but he came because he's good and we need him.
He's a weird one. 24 goals in a bad year, right?
Yeah, but you said you can't trade him.
I don't think you get anything for him. No, he's gonna have to prove.
So is he good or not? I love this argument with you.
No, and I get what you're saying because it's like Pinder. How can you say that this guy could be good again, but that no one would trade for him? I get
this guy's a second line center.
But teams
love second line centers. These guys are important components to a winning team. Can you trade him? Not a chance.
No way.
And no team would want him.
Yeah, and it's the same with Markstrom. It's the exact same conversation because I don't think GMs are willing to take on the risk until guys prove they're back. Kadri has to prove he's back. Markstrom has to prove he's back. I think they can bounce back, and I think those are safer sort of guesses. I don't think GMs have any interest in the risk involved in betting on those bounce backs when there's other options out there. When you can go get Max Pacioretty for peanuts, Brett Burns for peanuts, when you can pick up a goalie off the Aiden Hill that's a nobody that could turn into a starter. I don't think GMs in their comfortability with risk have any interest in these things, but that doesn't mean these guys can't bounce back. Do you see how I'm sort of trying to thread the needle there?
I get it, but I love
we do get it, of course. And again, this will be a conversation that we've had and will continue to have, and we saw it certainly this offseason with free agent signings. Do you like Nazem Kadri? Sure, we do. Well, what's he make? Oh, it's $6 million. Oh, okay.
7, yeah.
For how many more years?
Yeah, that is the thing. The term's always
2 more years, 1 more year. No, 5. Can't do it.
Try 7. 7 times 7.
Cannot do it.
Yeah.
So.
And I think what you're seeing with Elias Lindholm is an understanding of leverage. Like, if you're his agent and you look at this roster without him, and you know Michael Backlund's up, like let's say Backlund says, you know what, guys, I want to go chase the title. Could you try to move me to a contender? I love it here, but my dream is to win a Stanley Cup. I want to try to do that, and it's not happening here this year. Maybe it's just something doesn't go right this year, and he wants to leave. Like, I think he's earned that. He's been a great Flame. He's been fantastic human here. Lindholm was like, what are you going to do next year? Are you going to roll into the season with Nazem Kadri and who else at center ice? Like, who else is at center? Who else do they have? Like, Lindholm understands he has all the leverage here, at least his agent does. And like, the idea is the billionaire owns the team. I'm their only number one center, a guy that can even pretend to be a number one center in this league. Of course, I think I'm worth 9 or 9+ if Bo Horvat's getting 8 and change on the island. Because look at them without me. If they want to win, they need me.
It comes down to the bigger question. We've had it, and I think we all know the answer. What are you trying to do? Are you trying to take this group of players and win a Stanley Cup with this group of players? Or are you trying to build a team that down the road can be a perennial powerhouse and contend for multiple cups over a 3 or 4 year period?
Yeah. Like Rhett's talked about a 5-year plan, and I think all of us are on side with that. The challenge is I don't think that's anywhere near what the marching orders and or philosophy of the owner is. So that puts Connie in a pickle, doesn't it? Oh, you're muted, bud.
It's a nasty pickle he's in because you're band-aiding everything for 5 years.
Even less, maybe. Like, when does Kadri start to fall off? He's already 33.
I know, but
you have a tiny little window to be competitive here. This is a tough spot, man. You don't want to ink too many guys to 6, 7, 8 year deals, do you?
Again, we've talked about it. It's gross because I don't trust that they're going to be good. Should they be better than last year? Sure. But there's other teams that have improved as well. Does they guaranteed a playoff spot? And even if it is a playoff spot, great. Are we talking about a team that can actually go into Vegas or LA or Edmonton and win a series? Dallas? You're going to beat Dallas in a series next year?
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. I was going to say, because your point about Uyghur last year, Retro, and I agree with you. How much more were you going to have to pay Uyghur if he came out and led the league in defense scoring? Like, what were you going to have to pay him? I guess my question then is with Elias Lindholm, if you believe what you're hearing, and Elliot Friedman was talking about it, it's probably he's surpassed that Bo Horvat contract. It's high 8s, 9s, 9 and change.
They've offered more.
If he goes out and has a great start to the season, how much more? Is he a $10 million player? Do you know what I mean?
And like you said, Pinder, I get the argument. If Backlund leaves and Kadri's your only guy under contract, are you going to let Lindholm? But now you're chasing. That's just that Band-Aid chasing. Mm-hmm. Well, we can't let him go, so let's overpay him. And then if you happen to hit a home run with someone, a kid, you're screwed.
Yeah, what if in 2 or 3 years Hanzik has emerged as a very good young setter?
That'd be lovely, wouldn't it? Comes out of entry level, deserves to get paid.
You've got 5 years of Kadri and 6 years of Lindholm. So he's your third line center.
Chuck, where he signs a bridge and says not re-sign. Like,
yeah, I don't know.
It's the shit.
I'm less concerned about that in the sense that you will always be able to pay your good young players. It's more what you can surround them with. Like, they got $52 million in 3 years or something like that. Like, I don't see them being like, well, now we can't sign a young star. What it more likely
they don't have
is,
Lindholm.
pardon me?
They're gonna have $52 million.
That's as it stands now. And yeah, you're going to need players and all that.
Well, what's Lindholm taking? 10?
So even if it is 10, you got $42 million to sign Honzek. Is that going to screw you? Like, you're going to get him signed. It's more what you're going to surround that group.
Yeah, you're going to get him signed initially, but
there's never
you cannot argue that regardless. I mean, I guess the cap is the cap, but if you have enough bad money tied up, you're going to get fucked somewhere.
What it looks like is Vancouver. So you keep your Petterssons and you keep your Quinn Hugheses and you keep your Thatcher Demkos, but you what happens is the bottom half of the roster turns to shit. And so I agree with you that you have to be savvy with cap management. It's so crucial. It's the only thing that limits how much talent you collect, is how much money you pay on players. It's maybe the most important piece for a GM. But what I'm also saying is that it's not at the expense of your best players. It's always at the expense of how much talent can you put around your best players. Like, there aren't many guys that can't pay their best players. Like Edmonton and Vancouver have horrible cap situations for a while. They always keep their stars.
Well, you know what, though?
It's
That's
just what
not
you surround
true.
them with is crap.
That's not true, because Tampa Bay, here's the thing. Tampa Bay has struggled to pay a lot of their players. It's just that the guys that they have are fucking all-world superstars.
And they paid them all. Kept them all.
Every year, there's 2 or 3 players that they would like to keep that have to leave.
Right, but my point is that they're secondary pieces, right? It's the Killorns and Colemans and Palats that leave. It's not Kucherov, Vasilevsky, Hedman, Stamkos. Point.
Yes, but if Nazem Kadri is not Nikita Kucherov.
That's my point. Those are the guys that leave, not your young stars.
So that's what I'm saying. I'm okay with you spending, but Elias Lindholm is not Steven Stamkos. If you want to tie up $10 million a year and $9 million a year, then do it on fucking superstars, not guys who are top 5, top 10 in the conference players.
Yep. So, and then the question becomes: let's say that Backlund Gonzo, Lindholm Gonzo, 2-year forward defenseman Gonzo. All of a sudden, it's like, you noted this a while ago, Dino. You got a big reset on the cap here. You've got some room. There's a nice class of free agents. Is there anyone you think you can get at the same number you're offering Elias Lindholm right now that is better?
Can I ask?
And I would venture to suggest the answer is no.
Can I ask you a question?
Fire.
With all that cap space,
yeah,
you're talking about going to free agency to get guys, right? Is that what you're going to use that money?
I'm not saying this is what I'm doing. It's an exercise to sort of illustrate a point. I think they should be rebuilding to an extent here, retooling like you do. I just don't think the owner's on that page. He's never shown it, and he doesn't speak publicly. So all we can guess is, like, what has he done in the past? How does he operate in these situations? He's always like, get in, do it quickly.
Yeah, that's what I guess that's what I fear with 40 million. So you're going to have to sign, or if you get Lindholm, and I'm saying 10, which might be way overpay, but just Rasmus Andersson's going to need his money. Some of these guys are going to chew up some of that 52.
Yeah,
that you're talking about, and then they're going to be in the same spot where, well, we got to win, so let's go sign a free agent and spend too much on these guys.
Yeah,
if you can even do it, you know what I mean? Like, Steven Stamkos wasn't. Who's the biggest free agent that we've been able to bring into Calgary?
Probably Markstrom.
The biggest free agent success story.
Well, I don't mean success, just like in terms of where he was in the market. That was the best goalie available. They went and got him.
Yeah, and that's, I actually don't mind the Markstrom signing. I think it's been
okay,
fine. Yeah. Last year was off. But in the history of the Flames, signing free agents, and in the history of free agency, it typically doesn't work out a lot. The biggest guns are not coming to Calgary. You have to build that from within. And they had an opportunity to restock the shelves, and I just think that they're not doing enough of that. And I think we all agree with that.
Yeah, and the opportunity still remains. It's just,
I was going to say, I agree, Ryan. Yeah. You're never going to be free of some albatross contracts here and there. No team.
You might want to take some on.
You still have an opportunity here. I'm with you. It's that whole, well, what if we don't pay him, then what are we going to look like this year? They have handed an 8-year deal based on the 23-24 season.
They have 2 defensemen under contract for next year.
Perfect.
Like if you want to, if this goes sideways out of the gate, like they will never choose to rebuild, but when they're forced to, they do. And so in a weird backwards way, there might be fans wanting this to go sideways for 2-3 months so that you don't have these, nearly decade-long commitments to an aging roster that probably tops out at just okay, not great.
And I wonder too, and you'd be the guy to talk to about it, Retro, from having played and from watching it now. I just wonder too, for a young player, the money's the money. So it says 3-4 million, but if all of a sudden you have 2 defensemen under contract, and yeah, you got to pay to get people to come to Calgary, but would there not be some players who would say, so I can be a 5-6 or press box some nights in Colorado or whatever, but I'm going to play every night, top 4. My next contract, if I'm getting some power play time, does that not matter?
So you're saying you're going to give a 5-6, and because he's going to be a 4 on your team, he's going to come. So you're giving a 5-6.
I'm not saying you're paying. I'm not saying you're overpaying to get him. I'm just saying, would a player look at roughly the same money, and say, I can go to Calgary?
I think that's a play spot, man. It's like opportunity, right?
When has it happened, though? Is my
Stetcher
question.
This summer? Like that's the exact guy, right? He goes to a contender. He's 7. He goes to Arizona. He's playing every night.
Yeah, that's the other side of it too, though. Well, there would be, sure. Yes, Stetcher's a great example of it. Yes, I just don't know that those are the guys that are going to move the needle for you.
I agree with that too. Yeah, no one's a 5-6 away when you have 2 defensemen under contract. But I'm with you, Dean. Like here's the thing: if you're smart about unloading guys that aren't going to re-sign here, or saying, you know what, this could hurt us more than it helps us signing this guy to what it's going to take to get him done, you're not moving them for nothing. Like you're going to get assets. Those can be picks. Those can be young, cost-controlled assets. Those can be young defensemen that are under contract. I mean, it's a really unique opportunity for Connie. The challenge is that Lindholm's the toughest one because you don't have any center depth. You don't have a center prospect that is going to hit.
I think
you've got lots of D. Like I think you can shed Hannafin and still have a good blue line. I don't think you can have a good forward core without Lindholm right now. And so if Connie's got this MO of you got to be competitive, that's his toughest spot is Lindholm.
That's what I was just going to say. I think the most clarity that's come to my mind through this summer is that it's status quo from ownership down.
Mm-hmm. Which was too bad. Remember when I was in that Oilers room about to golf and Rhett went on the 13 cuss tirade and it was like, everyone wants to leave. Screw these guys. Like we'd convinced ourselves that even the owner must acknowledge now it's time for a rebuild. No. And maybe we were overreacting, but still,
and again, it's
here's your opportunity to reset.
You're overreacting, but you're not, because you did have the opportunity. You got guys saying they want out. A coach, it was a complete shit show. Like, let's not forget, it was a shit show for the last year here. Yes. The moment Gaudreau didn't sign, it was an absolute, and everyone could say, "Oh, Brad did a great trade." Did a great trade, and he fucked up the signings. Majorly.
I think he fucked up one of the signs, but yes,
he chased it. He was, you know what? To me, it sounds terrible because I like Tree, but he was a guy. I think he was in a position where, as a GM, where it's like, well, I might as well go all in. I ain't gonna last year long. We don't win, I'm done.
There was a lot of scar tissue about the way that Johnny happened. Just the fear of it happening again seemed to paralyze the
and Matthew, right?
But Kadri was the same way.
At least they got Matthews to trade, right?
You're 100% discounting the Kadri signing, I think, Ryan. Like, it's not just Huberdeau, and Uyghur's okay because you've got him signed and he can be a decent defenseman.
Kadri was brought in for this team right now
to win. And they're a winning team.
They also packaged up a first to make room for Kadri because it was 1 year left to Monahan. Like I'm not here saying Kadri's a good move. It's just you specifically talked about that trade and then the signings. The Kadri one is tough, man. It really is.
But
you've talked about back to it just to finish, and I'm reiterating what we've said for months. Last spring was the time going into this trade deadline, whether you got guys out of this draft or not. I sure wished they'd have had the freedom to dump guys and become a bank for the rest of the league.
Yeah.
Well, and you know what? To that point, Retro, you can't control. Craig Conroy can't control what offers are going to be there. You can't control that. If you get offers that these offers are no friggin' good. Yeah, we want to turn the roster over, but we have to be able to get more at the deadline or a month or two if there's injuries from other teams, if we get into it. What you can control is re-signing these guys to too much money.
Yes.
And you've talked about it in Buffalo, and it's the same thing here. And it's a lot of these markets. You want guys that want to be here. And you're not going to have a room full of guys that love Calgary or love Buffalo. You just can't have guys that are older, overpaid, only here because they got paid, and they don't want to be here, but they'd rather be somewhere else, because inevitably Coronado, Pelche, Hanzik, there's going to be younger guys that are going to come into that dressing room, and if you've got a bunch of guys in there in their mid to late 30s,
retirement
making tons of dough, and a bunch of sourpusses, that also is no good. So now it's no good on the ice, and it's no good off the ice.
Think about the Wild, Dino. They are in, I think, year 4 of 5 of just massive cap pain for buying out Suter and Parise. Why did they do that? They weren't bad players. They were making too much. It's because they killed the fucking culture there. Yeah. They were retiring in Minnesota. And the Wild said, this is going to hurt. And we're going to be handicapped to the point where, like, we're going to have maybe 20 to 25% less cap to work with than the rest of the league. But we have to do this because it's going to trickle down to our kids. And if they see this and that's the culture that's set, we're fucked longer than those contracts.
And I don't know how good any of these young players are, but we've said it, and Rhett, you've said it till we're blue in the face. That's a young man's league. And you have to give it's just that's the only way I see this team. And it's if Lindholm comes back, it's not as though the team is screwed or whatever, but how many 30-year-olds can you have on a team?
It just seems to be like peak sadness if you're
already a non-playoff team,
old, no cap space, trading picks at the deadline to bolster teams that aren't good enough to go deep. Like that is, we've seen that. It just reminds me way too much of the end of Jerome's time here. And they basically played him down until he was worth a nickel on the dollar instead of moving him after a 40-goal year where you could have restocked the whole shelves.
We fixed it.
Well, I think we pointed out what was wrong.
No, we noticed what's going on.
Oh, is that what we did? Kind of
we used a few of our senses to see the shit that could unfold. That's it.
Let's get into the Pinder Report. It's a presentation of Village Honda. Right now, it's the clear out on 2023 Honda Ridgelines and the Passport. New in-stock inventory on the ground. Maybe you want a 2024. Hey, they've got some of those. You want the 2023s? They're blowing them out. Northwest Auto Mall, online at villagehonda.com. They are your dealership for life and present the Pinder Report.
Well, as we start where you started, Dino, right at the Flames kickoff of sorts. It does feel like hockey season once we have the Flames annual golf tournament. And with that, we have quotes from players. Here's center Michael Backlund. Just like I said at the end of last season, I want to see what's going to happen here. And I'm still feeling that way. I haven't closed any doors. I'm excited to start the season. We'll see how things shake out. If this team is good, I think you can expect to see a career Michael Backlund, which would be lovely. If this team is not, I think Backlund would love a chance to go to a contender. How old's Backlund now? What is he, 35-ish? Like, I think he's understanding there's not a lot of tread left. He turns 35 in the spring. Next, Backlund more. Want to see where this team's going. Only so many years left. Make the most of it, but I do love Calgary. I'm not just going to take off and leave. It's a big decision that hasn't been made yet. Again, nothing new there, but just reiterating after the translation issues we had with Google back in the spring that he's not closed any doors, but I think, like you said, Dean, a lot of these other free agents, what's it like this year? Am I going to like going to work? Do we win? Because that, the best medicine, just W's, baby.
Yeah, and it is, all of them are going to say that. And if we were in that spot, we would probably say the same thing because we have the luxury of that time.
It's got the leverage. He has the time. He can use it. It looks like the cap's going up. We don't have a ton of clarity on it. Of course, let's see how things shake out.
Yeah.
Why would I make that decision now? Similar vein, Noah Hannafin, who at some points this summer we were told would not resign here. He has reiterated that doesn't mean he won't ever resign here, just that he wasn't going to resign in the summer. Okay.
Now that according to Conroy, for people that are just listening, right?
Yeah. Conroy indicating the team hasn't closed on the door and returning. and he also hasn't closed the door on the team. So okay, fine, sure.
Thanks,
boy,
Lambert.
have a lot of these, eh? Just Lindholm, Backlund, Hanifin, Tanev, Shillington, and Zadorov. Just 6. I'm not putting your boy.
I gotta say, with Shillington should be pumped to get a contract.
That would be, I think, probably your easiest bit of business. You get him going early and say, Oliver, we're so glad you're back. Let's get something done here. The others, a little more leverage, a little more urgency on those fronts, perhaps. Okay. Other Flames news, Eric Francis reporting that it's going to be probably Rasmus Andersson as the next captain. He also notes it would have been Backlund, but doesn't have a contract beyond this year. It would be a little clunky if you named Backlund a captain and then he was moved mid-season. And then I think we've talked about it. I think Rasmus has some of those qualities you like, plays with some edge. He's a guy that usually doesn't cheat the game with his effort. And also we've noted those guys in the room know more than we do about who's really leading the group and who isn't.
Naming a captain. Go for it.
It's important to Connie and Huska, and it'll be done before the season starts, they say.
I would also give it to Rasmus Andersson. I like how he plays. Or
Weak Rasmus.
Yeah, I've
Weak dog.
kind of saying it for months. He's drafted by the team, has come up through the development system, and not that makes a great captain, but he seems to have some leadership quality from where we sit and watch.
Mm-hmm.
Has some swagger.
Does have some swagger.
Uyghur would be fine as well, but no, I like the age, style of play. Attaboy Rasmus, if in fact that comes to be, which we do expect it to be.
Yes, that would make sense. Okay, let's get back to the drama in Columbus. Remember that quiet little market where no one was going to notice Mike Babcock was coaching? Wrong. Yeah, Babs is back. There's a statement from Babs and the Jackets regarding the allegations put forth by the Spit and Chicklets podcast. We're learning about people's families. We're showing photos of the families, blah, 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 blah. Boone Jenner, same quote. What about Johnny Ohio Hockey? What about him? What's he saying? Johnny, you there?
Hey.
Yeah, it was a cool and unique way to get to know the player. So this is a tough spot these players are put in. We don't know exactly what happened, but we do know that you kind of got to toe the line for your new head coach before the season even starts.
Don't play that side of it too much, Pinder, because it was because I'm going to take the other side. I had a buddy who grew up with Babcock, texted me last night and said, listen, it's all fine and good. Everyone takes shots and he's an easy target, but Babs is a family guy and a good person. If he's not treated you well, Mike Commodore would definitely have a different opinion.
Yeah.
But I don't think you just picture that. And remember what we said we would respond with. Hey, give me your phone. I want to look at your pictures. Go F your hat is what I think pretty much everyone would say.
And
right?
we're about to show the other side of it too, right? Because that is Columbus's response to Commie, and then Commie and Ray Whitney from Spin Chicklets respond to that. Right. And we don't know what happened. And I think there's a lot of people that love Mike Babcock. There's also a lot of people he's rubbed the wrong way. I have had no interactions with him. I don't know the human. So I'm not here to say he's this or that. What we're showing is the whole spectrum of this thing. So the Columbus players playing this down like, no. Like, it's meet the family stuff. This isn't a big deal. To which we get a response from Biz Nasty, a couple of them. Knock off the BS. Enough with putting guys on the spot. I've had tons of players confirm this. Smarten the bleep up, Babs. Shove this statement up your hoop. Okay, so that's more from Bissonnette. So he's saying, I hear what you're saying. That's not what I'm talking about. And then he says, if you think on this podcast, the story we would talk about it without confirming it, you need a brain transplant. It's bizarre behavior from a guy that's had bizarre behavior before and gotten canned for stuff like this. And, he says, I've had other players confirm it. So really what we're talking about is what happened in that room. The guys on Spit and Chicken saying, listen, we've got this on good authority that the way they're portraying it is not how it went. And we're here from the Blue Jackets. No, this is really innocent. This is no big deal. So we don't know what's happening, but we love the drama. Like, I just think of how
it is great.
Where's who's the host on WWE? Like, remember the short bald guy that used to do the Hulk Hogan? And
come on, Ryan.
This is good. I know what's his name.
Come on, Ryan.
Not Paul Bearer. He was the Undertaker's guy.
Just keep moving.
I know. What is it? You gotta
push that.
Give me his name. I need a shovel.
Yeah.
But now that I've got the shovel, tell me his name.
Mean Gene Okerlund.
Thank you, Mean Gene. We need a Mean Gene here.
Let me tell you something, Mean Gene.
Yeah. Here's Ryan Whitney. Did I say Ray Whitney earlier?
You did, yeah.
Sorry about that. Ryan's a tough name. Can't remember that. When players from Columbus make a statement that the characterizations of Babcock from Biz Myself are false, just know that's BS. I feel bad putting the players in a tough spot, but Babcock's a complete weasel, shouldn't be coaching in the league. Okay, so that's Whitney's take.
So you have the podcast guys sticking up for themselves and having each other's back, and the players sticking up for the coach. Their thing. Now, and I'm not going to say I feel bad for Babcock, but if this was a genuine effort, if they're in I don't know, is this were these one-on-one meetings? Is this the team sitting down? It's like, it felt like, hey, give me your phone so I can go through your pictures.
Yeah. Yes,
and that's what we here it's like, hey, you know what? Here's some photos of what I did this summer. This is my place at the lake. I got a boat. This, you got any pictures? If you got, love to see your kids and your family. If it's him trying to be genuine, then it really blew up in his face, and it's too bad. But maybe that's one of those things you don't ask people to do.
Two things. Biz did sell it as it was a give me your phone thing.
He did.
Right.
And he said he's got it confirmed. Yeah.
And Biz is they're massive, and that's fine. And I don't know that he's wrong, but maybe three things. Second thing, there's guys that want to suck up to Biz and spit chicklets. They want to look cool. So they are going to, you know what I mean? They think they're talking privately, and they're putting a spin on it. When Boom tells a story, I tell a story, Pinder tells a story on this show, there's no sense. I went to the game and I asked the ref if we could change, right? You spice up the story. And I think that Biz did that. And probably the guys that were talking to Biz did that.
Yeah.
Now I've lost my third.
Yeah, you had a third thing there.
I had a third thing.
Those are the first two, though. And
I should have stuck to two.
The first two were good. Do you need a shovel, or it's been a lot of shovels?
No,
today?
I need more than a shovel. Oh my God. The third part was the most important.
It really was.
It felt like you were really building.
It was building towards something.
Building.
It's like, here's this and here's that.
What was the first one again? The first one was guys want to be cool to Biz.
Yeah.
The second one is you're going to spice up
Biz. Biz did sell it as
potentially misrepresented the story.
Give me your phone, right?
Yeah.
Give me your phone. I'm going to look at your pictures. That was kind of the portrayal that Biz put out there.
Yes, it was.
Right.
And we don't know whether that's true or not.
And then secondly,
there's no way
you're going to spice up your story.
I have to believe only because if any of us, we said the same, all of us said the same thing. If I don't give a shit if it's your coach or not, these guys are in the NHL.
Yeah.
There's no effing way a coach is going to say, give me your phone and your passcode, and I'm going to go through your pictures.
That's why I think this
and you're going to be okay with it.
Because I don't think if it's actually just showing the family cabin that anyone would even be talking about it. It had to be more for this to actually to be anything, didn't it?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Being cool on the Spit and Chicklets podcast, wanting to be cool with Biz. Like you spice up the story a little bit. And I just had the third thing.
And you lost.
Oh, that's what it is. Kids are idiots. And I'm learning more and more about this as I go. And they will. I'm coaching the 14-year-olds. I asked the kid yesterday, hey, how's school going? School. Why? What? What
do you mean?
Sorry, man. I'm just making conversation, right? So there can be misinterpretation by these young, dumb kids. And Babcock's just like, dude,
kids are so dumb.
Sorry.
Mm-hmm. That's
Sorry
number
for
3.
asking. Hey, looks like you've lost your finger there. But you want some help or you need a Band-Aid? The hell are you asking me that for? Okay.
So dumb.
Sorry. Right?
If only we had another person that knows Babs well that could weigh in here.
But that's a skewed opinion.
Of course it is. And that's what we're saying. Oh, no, here's Tommy. Let's have a listen.
Just push pause.
Morning, folks. Mike Commodore here. Hey, look, I mean, I don't enjoy doing these videos, but Mike Babcock just can't help himself. All this talk, second chance, he's changed. It's all bullshit. Nothing's changed. He's exactly the same. He's pulling the same stuff now that he wasn't Toronto, that he wasn't Detroit. It's the same shit. Power, intimidation, and, I mean, going through people's camera rolls, I mean, pervert. He's a pervert.
Well, at least we got an unbiased down the middle opinion there from Tommy.
Yeah, that's good. That's where we would go for.
And I'm not bringing this up to say, like, look at this guy, here's the things he's done. So much as like, this is peak drama. This
Great
is Melrose
story.
Place. This is 90210. This is Days of Our Lives shit in the NHL, because no one, except a small number of people, actually know what actually happened. And we've got people on either side vehemently saying the other people are not telling the truth. It's really juicy stuff.
It has caused some emotional trauma for a lot of, like, there's a lot of buildup here.
I also think just the context of Biz and that show are important. And we saw it in Nashville when we went down for the draft, Retro. Like, to see Bissonnette out is the only way you can really understand the stardom and the clout that he holds in the States. And we don't get to see it as much here because he's been a big personality on the TNT broadcasts, which have been excellent and far better than the ESPN ones. He is a really big swinging D, whether he wants to be or not, Dean. And it's like, he
is one of the most impactful hockey media people, bar none. There are some insiders, but Biz is on. Now, he did play. He's funny. He's charismatic. He's the best part. He's probably the best part of that show, right? Because Wayne's there. Wayne likes him. It's more than just being an influencer. But because you're right, Retro, there'll be a lot of guys. Spittin' Chicklets is cool. It's a very good podcast. It's the best one going, and Biz is just cool, and he can sell beer, and they can sell liquor, and they can, you know what I mean? He's a powerful guy. I do wonder,
big enough to have some FU to it behind him too.
Yeah, and
but
I wonder,
there should be some responsibility by. I mean, I don't think he's spouting bullshit. I really don't. I do think there's some room for the misinterpretation from a lot of different ways.
Yeah. I worry about him a little bit because he is so unfiltered and he is himself, and that's why he's gotten to this point. But as he becomes, to your point, Ryan, as he becomes kind of a legitimate mainstream influencer and a guy with some clout, it becomes easier to be canceled. When the more mainstream you get.
He's on that line where it's like, you didn't have to use that euphemism. Like, it's just a little too.
There was a tweet or an X that went out by him today or yesterday, and I'm like, okay.
You could pick a different analogy there.
Yeah, you don't have to be. But that's me.
But it was just blown away. Like, there was a line of people to talk with Biz all night. Whatever, Aldean's or whatever. And I was like, of course everyone wants to say hi, but it just didn't stop. And it was like, I knew he was big, and I think we all understood the power of his stardom as a broadcaster more than a player. But it was to a level I didn't expect in Tennessee, if you know what I mean.
And you know what? The guy works his ass off. Well, this guy, he's funny and he tweets. Guy has worked his ass off. He has leaned into it. He's gotten better at it. I remember we talked to him years ago, and he had kind of plans and designs with what he wanted to do. He's like he's the Pat McAfee of the NHL.
Totally. That's a good call. Yeah. And I think similar vibes, right? They're like not afraid to say what's on their mind. And if this is controversial, so be it.
Yeah.
It's very much the opposite of how the insiders have to sort of like, you can't burn these sources you have, and you've got to play through everything down the middle and be a journalist. That ain't it, right?
So, Retro, you laughed out. You lolled when Mike Commodore's picture came up on the screen there. What was so funny?
Did he look disheveled again? I'm like,
you know what it was?
Look at me. I'm like,
that video came up like after his first tweet of the day, which was on Twitter or X or whatever. And like, he's not on all the time, but anytime there's any Babs controversy, it's good morning, folks.
Yeah. And it is good morning. Like you just out of the shower, and that his hair is an animal unto itself is not a shock. We know his hair is something special. We've seen it.
Anyway, this is drama, boys. Like, I know that this isn't ideal type of PR, but there's sort of that philosophy: no PR is bad PR. People are going to be paying more attention to the Blue Jackets than they would have otherwise. That's a fact.
Does this blow over enough for Babcock to just go about, like, whether you
Yes.
like him or not? Can
Yes.
he just go coach now, or is
It's he said, she said, and until there's a smoking gun, it's just that. So here we go. And you know what? Like, knives will be out if they suck, and that's not a great roster. But he's got a little bit of time, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think this was an off-season deal. If anybody other than Biz talks about it, it's nothing. It speaks to the power of Spit and Chicklets and Biz, frankly.
Totally. Okay, well, there's your update if you missed this week's soap opera on that. Oh, I'm sure more tomorrow to be sure. Be sure to stay on top of that one, Dino. Blue Jays have had a bad time to lose 2 in a row. It's the team that was chasing them, past tense, and now the team that's ahead of them, the Texas Rangers, back-to-back wins to open a 4-game set. They now sit in wild card 2. Seattle won last night, and the Blue Jays are suddenly tied for the final wild card, but Seattle owns the tiebreak. Kikuchi tonight, Gosman tomorrow. Wouldn't be the worst time for a split, fellas. Big game tonight.
Would it be a split?
Well, it's 4-game set, and the Texas won the first 2.
Okay.
So to
So I
split
thought
the
you
4
meant
means...
split
Yeah,
the
I thought
next
you were talking
two,
about
and I'm like,
splitting the next 2
No,
starts.
no, sorry. I mean, like, basically all they had to do was split a 4-game set to be in great control of their destiny, and they've lost the first 2, and now it's like, ooh, the numbers don't look good at all if you lose 3-1 or 4-0 in this series. The good news, Seattle and Texas have 7 against each other remaining. The bad news, the Jays have like 13 against Boston, Tampa, New York, and they've struggled against the AL East. We're down
You
to
just hope those get done in regulation.
in reg.
Start throwing 3-point games in there. And
Well, the shootout.
Nightmare
Boy, they've
fuel.
struggled in the shootout, especially Vladdy.
Ask the Flames last year, right? It's hard to catch. Too many teams in front of you.
Huge NFL news, guys, and I mean huge. You think Aaron Rodgers, that plot twist was in the script was crazy? Here's the biggest news of the season. Travis Kelce hanging out quietly with Taylor Swift. Oh, baby.
Well, he had gone on his podcast, I believe, and talked about how he was at a concert and wanted to give her a gift or something. He kind of shot his shot a while back.
Not a boy. Yeah, we're old married dudes. Can we even talk about young people dating, or what happens?
Sure,
now?
we can. We're not saying, and it's not calling him a pervert. Who would do that? Go out there and just arbitrarily
He's
pick
an
a guy.
NFL star. She's a pop star. He's not grabbing her phone, scrolling through the camera roll.
They are 2 highly successful young people in their line of work. I hope it works out.
Wonderful people, I'm told. I don't know either, but yeah. Hope for the best for these 2. Big news, team.
That's huge news. Also important if Kelce gets back on the football field. But
yeah,
this also.
Don't need any lingering groin issues this season. He's already missed 1 week, so let's get him healthy and back. Oh my God. So that's 3.
You can't even do that because yesterday you had some terrible.
Dean was awful. Yeah.
Yes. Too far.
What was everyone else?
No, you know what? It was the groin injury. Like
I know what it was.
A little on the nose.
You literally were talking about.
Oh, maybe he needs a little massage in the groinal region to get him back in the field.
I know it's a boomocracy, but if we had access to the shovel, it could have been used a couple of occasions yesterday.
I control the comedy around here, fellas.
Boomocracy it is. That's never changed. Thursday Night Football, looking at my calendar, tomorrow, boys. Right?
Yeah. Yes.
Already.
Let's buckle up. Here it is. Here's Betway's line. The Vikings, who soiled their pants week 1 against Baker Mayfield and the Buccaneers at home.
They got
getting
Baker.
a touchdown on the road. How about that? Got something to say there.
Take them.
This is my Betway bet.
Okay, amazing. So I won't say anything about picks. Here's what I can tell you about week 1. Road teams 12-4 against the spread. That is incredible. Like you're talking 75%. And also, home favorites only went 3-8. We'll maybe see if that lines up with Boom's bet later. Or if those trends just need to normalize, Dean, obviously that could happen too. Waiver wire Wednesday. Let's see what happened in the Media Hacks League. Looks like Jack Let's go to the Jack Cam. What do we got here? Oh my God, $50 for Josh Kelly. That's amazing. You could have got him for 13. That's quite something.
Attaboy, Jack.
Yeah.
No messing around.
Okay. Needed backup running back. Well, who knows? And Austin Eckler, they're not saying anything. This is a weird one.
Yeah, there's something up with that.
There's an issue, but is he going to play through it? Is he done, or is he just going to be fine? I don't know. Now, also, Dean, I know what you were doing at 2:08 this morning, and you should be ashamed of yourself. You added Raheem Shaheed?
What
Somebody?
What's
the greatest
is going on in your brain?
It's the best name. It's my favorite name in football. Raheed Shaheed. I gotta have some Raheed Shaheed in my life.
It's keeping you up, apparently. You could have put a claimant on waivers. Instead, you added the free agent at 2:08 this morning. Please sleep. You're nicer when you sleep.
I can't sleep.
Oh, no wonder you're so nice all the time.
It's not good, man.
Sorry about that.
Trust me, I'm doing everyone a favor by staying home. By sitting here and impacting fewer people's lives in person.
Okay.
You're welcome.
We set the line at 0.5 studio visits this week. Everyone took the under.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That one, it's deep in Betway. Tough to find the Boomer live studios.
And you know what? You can start looking at futures bets for October, November, December.
Yeah.
Take the under.
Yeah, there isn't an under low enough. Yeah.
Take the under. I got
What's lower than 0?
Lightning fast internet. Got a new camera, new microphone.
Maybe.
I'm not going anywhere.
I
don't have pants on right now.
Somewhere there's a segue to the MILF Hunter from that. I can't quite nail it, but let's take a peek at Zach Wilson, superstar in the making, Rhett. There's his passer rating next to Mahomes, Allen, and Burrow.
Stud.
Maybe just a reminder that also it's one game is the smallest of sample sizes.
Jack, have you got the other $50 left from your fab?
I got 45 now.
Throw a little 45 down on Wilson.
He already dropped 5 earlier for a guy who's dropped already. Haven't you? Didn't you drop him again?
Yeah, he got -2 points and he got dropped.
Jackson. I love it.
Spend the money, Jack, because I always have about $100 at the end of the year. So
you can't get buried with your free agent auction dollars, Jack.
Are there no bills out there, retro, that you could buy on the free agent on the waiver
that
wire?
Monday performance, I don't know how many that you really wanted. That was tough
I'm in
day.
a wait and see mode, Dean. Just like a lot of the Flames players are going to see if they can. Bounce back.
You're not against it. Not against it. You're open to anything, but
I'm open to it.
It's there's no need to make a decision right now.
Now you guys know where the terminology, like the rope-a-dope, where that came from, right?
Muhammad
Ali, prize fighter, amazing,
Best
famous international star, basically tuckered out an opponent by taking shots round after round after round after round. And then when his opponent was exhausted, wailing on Muhammad, he came back and won a massive match. Are the Steelers doing that for Jack?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, a little rope-a-dope from
deep water?
Because here's Trent Williams, the Pro Bowl left tackle. Let's start with a quote from All-Pro left tackle Trent Williams. The 35-year-old said, at one point, you just kind of wanted the Steelers to get a first down. There was all those 3 and outs, and we kind of needed a break.
Guys, the
offense was stuck on the field the whole game.
Jesus, guys, it was 3rd and 2.
Come on.
Could you not have found a way?
I just got my helmet off. I need water.
I am so tired right now.
Jack's F-bombing his team and the muttering in the background.
Who do they have this week? The Steelers?
Is it
Browns?
It's the Browns, who looked good on defense in the rain against Cincinnati.
That'll be a
divisional
good game.
matchup. That'll have some juice. Deontay's out. That's I'll tune in for that. That's a good one.
Oh, they got Allen Robinson. There's no reason to be worried.
A-Rob.
Gross.
Yeah.
The second, right? It's Allen Robinson the second, not the first.
Yeah, and then Calvin Austin the third.
Any seniors? We got any seniors out there? Robinson is a senior, I think. Is his pension kicking this year? Okay, we'll move on. Cavalry FC in action in Halifax yesterday. We told you to go to Donair, head down to the pub, go see funny man Trent McClellan, and Cavalry pick up 3 points. Could they do it on the road? Second game and 3 nights on the road? Fellas, let's go. Come on. Top of the table. You got to hold that. Fellas. 1-0 already. Corner kick. Ha-bingo! Nice header in front. That's the Flying Dutchman, Dan Klump. Beautiful stuff. Center back's third goal of the year. Let's watch the replay here.
She's clump.
She's in your head. It's off his head, actually. That's what it was.
Off his head.
Yeah. That's Trent right there, I think. Yeah. Very excited.
Trent McClellan.
Yeah. Clearly. Yeah. Telling jokes. You know what's funny? How bad this Halifax team is. Look at this header. Bang. Bingo. 2-0 at that point. Late penalty goal from Halifax would make it 2-1. That's your final. Another 3 points, fellas. Let's have a look at the old CPL table. Look at this. Little breathing room. Way up top. Tommy, do you need oxygen supply at heights?
Now they do have more MPs than Pacific, so
what does MP stand for?
If Pacific uses its MPs wisely, could
it's a lot of members of parliament.
Get to within 4 there, yeah.
Well, good stuff. Love to see that.
Yeah.
And in fact, what does it mean for the team? Well, they're playoff bound. Clinch, baby. Hey,
boy.
Look at this. Well done, guys. They're in. 4 teams make the playoffs. And again, the winner of the regular season and the winner of the playoffs, those 2 teams go into CONCACAF Champions League when Messi will come to Calgary.
So I was going to say, does this mean Messi's coming to Calgary?
I mean, it's a non-zero chance. Just like you could play against Messi, apparently. You were telling us last week.
No, I said I could play at Atco Field.
Yeah, that's what he said.
You said Messi could be playing at Atco Field, and I said I could play at Atco Field.
Yeah, I think they do have those winter markets ahead of Christmas. You could go down and buy some stuff. That's probably there. You could sneak out on the field. I'm not going to fight you on that one. That is possible.
I'll get new shoes.
Yeah, some kicks.
Yeah.
Good. Running a contest. They're at home this weekend. Let's take a peek. There's some loudmouth homeless man collecting empties and talking about tickets. We're giving away 2 pairs. Get on Twitter and Instagram. Tag the pals you want to take, and you could be one of our 2 winners of a pair of tickets to this weekend's game for the top of the table Cavs. Love to see it.
Nice. And you're not going.
I am busy. And speaking of that, Dean, our final note in the Pinder Report today, off to a wedding. And the fellas, we all had to make sure that our suits were fitting right. So here's a little preview of what we'll be looking like this weekend. There's me in the middle with a couple of points.
Yeah. Nasty butter churning accident. The Pinder Report is a presentation of Village Honda, located in the Northwest Auto Mall and online at villagehonda.com.
Is that the Pharrell Williams hat?
It's something like that. Or what was it? Curious George? Who was the
Mountie?
Curious George dude?
Man in the yellow hat?
Yeah. It wasn't his yellow hat kind of like that?
Kind of looks like the Arby's hat a bit. Yeah.
Huge selection of used vehicles. They don't sell you hats. Maybe you get a hat with a new vehicle.
Cavalry hat, probably.
Maybe.
Throw that in.
All makes, all models, all budgets. Over 70 units on site. Access to over 400 more in the dealership group. Village Honda, your one-stop automotive destination in Calgary. Worth the trip. Your dealership for life. And online at villagehonda.com. There you go.
Do you like the matching suits? Do you think that's going to work for the ladies?
You know what? I had a video, and I don't have time to do it now. I just remembered because there's a video of a guy who, again, from distance, it could be Pinder, doing something very Pinder-esque.
High kicking?
I'll you know what? You won't be able to say it, but I'll do it on the show for tomorrow.
Yeah, okay, very good.
It was kind of like when you were at the friggin' Blue Jay game there, and you were friggin' dancing and stuff. There's a I just can't believe you did this one.
Okay.
Well, can't believe you did.
You know how excited I get.
I know. Yeah, I know. Again, another day has passed. You did not mention that Prospects training camp starts tomorrow for the Calgary Flames.
So excited for those 4 guys we've heard of and the rest of them. I'm kidding.
Great opportunity for the kids. Great.
10 a.m. tomorrow. Winsport gonna be buzzing. The sounds of skates and pucks clanging. That's right. Hockey season is back. First on-ice session tomorrow, and then they will jet to Penticton, British Columbia, where they will play 3 games during the Young Stars tournament. The first one the very next day, Friday, Hawaiian Shirt Day.
It is actually, yeah.
And game day against the Vancouver Canuck rookies. Saturday, they will play Edmonton. Sunday is a practice day. Monday, they take on the Jets, then fly home, and then training camp.
Who stood out for you in development camp? Do you know you were talking about the sounds of sticks and pucks at Winsport and Obviously, a lot of interest on this.
I thought that Tyson Galloway.
Yegorov. Matt DeBlau.
No Matt DeBlau. No Matt DeBlau.
Kenny Morrison.
I actually, you know what? It's not a Pike bomb.
Huh?
But if I would go FlamesNation.ca, Ryan Pike went through the whole list of guys. There are, surprisingly, and there's some guys are injured, some guys are already at college or school or whatever.
Collegiate guys are gone.
But there are 3 goaltenders, 2 signed as a free agent, 1 is in on a pro tryout. Defensemen, they have 9D coming in. Only 3 of them are Flames draft picks. And then up front, you've got Samuel Honzek, first rounder. Matt Coronado will be going, as we expected, but no. Will Wolf be going? No Dustin Wolf. No Jacob Pelche. They got a couple second rounders in that, but no goalies.
It's going to be the Honzek and Coronado show if things go well for them. It's got to be.
William Stromgren, the second rounder from 2021. So, I mean, to your point, it's maybe doesn't have you excited, but Ryan Pike.
Pike bombs all over there.
He is engorged.
You just ask him about that entry-level slide Honzek's eligible for.
Oh, man, that entry-level slide.
Ooh, get you a good ELC slide.
That's right. FlamesNation.ca. Go check it out and see what Pike's got on the go there. Let's do a little this day in Flames history.
Oh, yeah.
And it's odd because we've been talking about this guy a lot as of late. Peter Klein, we've talked about a lot too. He is at McLeod Law. He's your personal injury guy, but also the go-to guy in Calgary for disability insurance. If the disability insurance company that you're dealing with is refusing to pay your insurance benefits, you get a hold of Peter, and he goes to work. He will get you the disability benefits you paid for and that you deserve. It's that peace of mind. It's just putting you at ease. That's what Peter Klein and the people at McLeod Law will do for you, regardless of whatever issue you're dealing with, but certainly in personal injury. And for disability insurance, Peter Klein, the very best in the business.
Take him to the woodshed for you. Don't be messing around. Go get Pete.
Something like that. So this day in Flames history, we talked about this guy. I mean, as recent as yesterday, we've talked about him a lot because his number is going to be going to the rafters this year at the Saddle Dome. Mika Kiprasov, on this date, he kind of did the Dustin Buffalo. He's like, I got money coming to me, but you know what? I just want to go fishing.
Jeez.
Now, it's not September 9th.
It's a little late. Doesn't it feel late?
Either way, Mika Kiprasov announcing his retirement from the National Hockey League. Flames leader for games played by a goalie, and wins, and shutouts.
God, that's a lot of shutouts.
He, look at guy in the background there on the left. He's like, I've got my eye on you, mister. You just watch yourself. Is that Robin Regeer in the stands there?
Jeez.
Is that Reg in the background there?
No.
Reg should be like in his early 30s here. Come on now. That's a shot.
And look at, what do we got? Bob Seeger with his sunglasses on in the background there too. Some interesting cats.
Good handlebar mustache on the off-ice official there. Very impressive.
Now, Retro, you talked about it with McLennan. When he quit, he had 1 year left on his deal. It was that kind of backsliding deal. Real money to be paid to him was $1 million. Yeah. So regardless of, I forget what his contract, in that $5 million range, $6 million, that sort of thing. So said no to at least $1 million. But he had another contract for sure if he wanted one, with probably not Calgary, but he could have gone elsewhere and gotten another deal for another 2-3 years easily, right?
100% easily. Yes.
Didn't they have a deal to move him? And he's like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah, Toronto wanted him, and he's like, no. Well, when you lose your love of the game because the coach is an idiot, then yeah.
It was. It's been relayed to me. This was it's me or the coach, and just like the Mark Savard scenario, the Flames picked the coach, who they then soon fired after.
Brilliant move. Can't let the players. What do they say? The inmates run the asylum.
They can't run the asylum.
Like that, yeah.
You need the asylum management to run the asylum.
Yeah.
I mean, there was lots to complain about with Kipper, so I mean, it makes sense to let him walk.
Yeah, high maintenance.
It was time.
Shitty in the room.
Asylum maintenance. That's actually Ben Stiller looking at him there. Hey, remember the nurse?
Oh, it is. Yeah.
Drink your damn tea.
That's right. That's
happy.
What? It's we can laugh about it, but when you think about it that way, it's frickin' sad.
It is. It shouldn't have gone it that way.
That he in essence walked away from the game because of the environment.
A Hall of Fame type career walked away from the game because of and trust me, I know him. He didn't ask for a lot.
That's fair.
Yeah,
right. He wasn't putting a lot of demands. He wasn't a pain in the ass to have in the room. He was frick.
This is
rubbing
not a
guys
diva.
the wrong way. Just a pain in the ass to the training staff and coaches.
Just awful person. Just nasty.
Yeah. No, it is. Yeah, it's unfortunate for sure.
He finished 7th in Vezina voting the year before his last year. Like he was still a stud. It's the only year he had injury issues, and it was like, okay, see ya.
What if he goes to Toronto and then plays well?
Oh, he's in the Hall. You see what happens when
Right?
the guys go to Toronto? You fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
He's close to Hall of
god.
Fame anyway. So
Mhm.
Yes, that's what I mean. If you got another 2-3 years and played in the biggest market on earth for hockey, in that spotlight where all the media are headquartered and the Hall exists, like if Lindros finishes his career in Columbus, is he in the Hall? If he's not an Ontario guy that goes and plays in Toronto,
he should be anyway. But yeah, no.
like it's the Toronto effect.
This Day in Flames history brought to you by McLeod Law.
I found that interesting as well. Was it this day in Flames history though? You mentioned that it wasn't.
You know what?
9. Then.
You had to bring it back up, eh, Brick? Let me look here.
Team
'cause
I was
players.
just wondering if
in the room.
that statement was from a different. I don't know.
Maybe they faxed it in on the 13th, but he told them
maybe
on the
they
9th.
faxed it
Yeah,
in,
yeah. They didn't have to fax him that check for $1 million, I guess. So
Anyway, is there anything else you wanted to bring up? Anything going on? You got anything for this Day in Flames history?
what's happening today in Flames history? Anything that's good? We'll never
What
forget
about tomorrow?
today?
What do we got? What about tomorrow?
I know who I could call to figure it out.
Who would you call?
Peter Marr.
Peter Marr.
Jeff
That
Marr
guy's
texted me the other day. Said, Dad said to say hi. I said,
Oh, did he?
"Matter of fact,
Love it.
Calgary, we are going to get together.
Yeah, that's what I told Pete
5 years.
last summer. Like, yeah, we're done working. We quit the radio thing. We got nothing but time, Pete. We're gonna hang out. It's gonna be great.
Yeah. If Pete literally knocks down your front door, you might see him. I think that's probably his best
Yeah, I
shot.
don't know
Not
whatever.
answering the door. Look at that dark room. He
That's why I
"I'll
said knock
tell you,
down. He's not
high
answering the
speed-
fucking
he's
doorbell.
got
You know that.
high-speed internet and a new
Yeah,
camera.
he just turned his lights off. He's gone. See you never. Look at him and his new toys. Jesus. What's that picture of? Are they dancing with a casket in the background there? What's that?
John Candy.
Come
Oh,
on,
that's
Ryan.
it. It's
You
too
know what?
dark.
Jesus
Jeez.
Christ.
You know
It's
what?
too
Get
dark.
out.
Look
Go
at
on
it.
your stupid.
I
I
am
hope
just
it's
gonna
a
face it.
planes, trains, and automobiles trip for you, idiot.
Can I take that back? I want to take that back.
Thank
Take
you,
back.
Rhett. Didn't appreciate the sewering about the Kipper stuff, but now you totally redeemed yourself. Let's do some Betway. And so you are going to Italy today.
No. I'm going,
He's going to a
Denmark
wedding,
today.
but not a wedding. It's more of
Not a wedding, but I'm
singles
going to-
event, but it's a wedding in
I'm
Italy.
going to a wedding. That's next
Probably
week.
wouldn't probably bother going just to the wedding if he wasn't allowed to go for a week-long party before by himself.
No, I was going to the wedding, but I just think, am I going to go to Europe for 5 days? That sounds like a nightmare. I'm going that far. Let's sneak in a little adventure somewhere.
So where are you going today?
Copenhagen, Denmark, baby. Woo!
I heard it's a great town.
Everyone loves it. I'm excited to see
want
it.
to go to Copenhagen.
Yeah.
Cool name.
You ever do Copenhagen?
Yes, last time I did was grade 10 algebra. I told this story. I started to drool as the test was handed out, and then I used the test to actually get the bit on my mouth, and I just slapped it on the teacher's desk, and she was like, "Where are you going?"
I don't feel good.
Yeah,
That's the last Copenhagen I had.
I can skate real good. Don't worry, I'm not worried about it.
I got
Here
long
you go.
arms. I don't need math.
Betway. Bet the responsible way with Betway. Get the Betway app on your phone. And you know what? Lines are always moving. There's props. There's all kinds of stuff. So you got to check in.
I checked in
early,
morning.
check in often. So we can start with either one there, Jack. Keep away. We got Ryan's got one, and I talked about the now the game tomorrow.
Ooh, over.
Minnesota at Philadelphia. Over the over under 48.5.
Harf.
Eagles beat the Patriots 25-20 in week 1. They were up 16-0.
Yeah, they were.
At the end of the first quarter. Jalen Hurts, really ineffective, only ran for 37 yards, fumbled the ball a couple times. I think you got 25 on the Pats D. I think they're better this week. Meanwhile, you got the Vikings. That defense gave up 20 to
Tampa.
Baker Mayfield at home.
School.
Madison on the ground only had 34 yards. Justin Jefferson had 150 yards, but no touchdowns. I'm going to take the over. I think there's some points here. Maybe I'll have a feel on a winner by tomorrow, but I think at 48.5, I'm going to take the over.
Quick little note: the under 12-4 in week 1. Maybe we see a little bounce back for the over.
Maybe.
This week. It's a little bit that week 1, kind of a little rusty, wasn't it? Especially those morning games. God,
Rusty.
Lost my shades there. Okay. Big baseball game tonight. Let's go back to our. Did you spell it wrong again?
No, he's got it. I think.
Our tried, tested, and true Kikuchi over on strikeouts. 6.5. Not a bad total. He's having a career year, to be sure. Was a man lost at sea last season for the Jays. Second best pitcher this year for them. Plus 110. Plus money for over 6.5. We're on it. And I'm going to take Minnesota getting a touchdown. I think Philly wins. I think Philly's better. But they were way better than the Patriots. And we're hanging on by the skin of their teeth in the final moments. And also, again, those road teams had some success. And Minnesota, come on now. You can't be that bad. Jesus, settle down. Taking a full touchdown there. That's a lot of breathing room for them to lose and me to win still. Minus 110.
Those are our Betway bets of the day. Get that app, follow along, play along, but be responsible. Bet the responsible way with Betway. Now, here's my ask, because you're going on vacation. You don't need to be part. We need some
content,
daily updates a la Aussie Brad.
Okay. Yeah.
Just record something and send it, and you'll know what it is.
Yeah, that's true.
There will be something every day. You will be somewhere. You'll be hammered or like something stupid.
Someone riding a unicycle with a weird hat. We're in Denmark. This is what they do here.
This is, we need the Pinder road trip updates.
Will do. And I have to get my NFL picks in for Friday for Jack anyway. So I'll go find some picturesque place to make my NFL picks.
What's the Bills line?
Jail.
It's moving. You can still grab it at -9 on Betway, but I'm seeing it at -9.5 at other places. So if you like the Bills, jump now. That's a lot of points, Retro, against the division leader, Garoppolo's Raiders. I like him on that.
He's so down on the Bills.
It's so sad there.
And I was thinking, because we talked about it yesterday, Ryan, you had the mathematical probabilities according to whoever. They were still the fourth.
They still are. Checked in today. Yeah.
I was watching yesterday. There was a few of those things like Super Bowl, good, elite, very good, playoff team. A lot of people, the shine came off the Buffalo Bills in a hurry.
Tough week 1, but they weren't the only ones. Kansas City loses, Cincinnati loses. There's some good teams that look like shit. No, because you're right. They were missing Kelsey. It's not the same, but I just mean that's a disappointing outcome when Mahomes gets the ball with less than 3 minutes left and doesn't win the game because you just see him do it half the season.
But they're receivers. Right? If Kadarius Toney can catch a ball.
I lost the freaking under on interceptions on that ball. Right, both of his hands. It went through both of his hands. That was the only pick.
It wasn't even.
Jeez.
You don't even have to do anything.
It's like Mahomes is like, do I have to return punts too? Like, Jesus, what else?
What are we doing here, fellas?
I'm putting the ball right in the numbers. Can you just hang on to the friggin' thing? They still could have won that game easily. Have been awful. So.
Yeah, and I guess the only shine off would be there was a lot of high hopes for Tony and for Sky Moore. Remember, he was like Sting watching from the rafters. He didn't even get a single catch. It's Kelsey and Mahomes. That's the offense. That's probably the only shine that's come off. There was hope for the second year Sky Moore and for Tony, who was great in the Super Bowl for them.
Now it's Wednesday, but we're getting close to. We're going to hear a lot more. I saw something online about how many cc's of blood that they hauled out of Kelsey's knee. Not bueno.
Oh, she's just swelling up.
There's some concern that, how about week 3? You like week 3?
Well, that's all of a sudden that affects the shine a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Because now it's like you might have to go on the road, or maybe it's like
The shine comes off when Kelsey doesn't play this season, or there's only 8 games left and they don't have a win.
Yeah, or Mahomes gets hurt. That's really the only thing that's going to end their chances. He's that special.
You've had a lot of fluid sucked out of your body, Retro.
Yeah, right up.
Talking about Cowboys?
And re-injected.
Shovel?
Yeah.
That's going to do it.
Got to go out on a high note, right?
Enjoy your nap, Dean. I hope you...
Dean, just do me a favor. Look out the window today. Just see if the world's still there, all right?
Open the window.
I listened and watched the Huberman Lab. He says the best thing you can do is avoid all sunlight. Get into the darkness as soon as possible and avoid all
when you wake
natural
up,
light.
Go outside and get 20 minutes of natural sunlight before you do anything else. Not wake up at 2 a.m. and check your fantasy team and start picking players up.
And start hammering caffeine. Get the caffeine going as soon as you can. Avoid all sunlight.
Straight line it. Yeah, right it.
Mainline it. Let's go.
Support the sponsors. Subscribe, like, tell your friends.
And stop by Dean's house and say hi.
No.
Don't touch his doorbell.
No.
It's actually set with her an electrical charge.
There's ever been a man in need.
I'm perfect. See you tomorrow, buddies.
Thanks for your work, Dean.
Ow.